Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is a bright but chilly day, Wednesday, 8 January 2025. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. Here we discuss what happened yesterday and what's likely to happen today and beyond. If you like this kind of commentary, kindly like, share, and subscribe. We've already crossed about 1150, which is very small by global standards, but uh, the target which I'd kept for a 1 year was 1,000. We have still not yet come to that 1 year, so I'm very happy that way. Small steps, but it's all because of the encouragement which my friends have given, watching it day in and day out. So today we will discuss a couple of things. The first thing, the macro is, as far as India is concerned, is the GDP numbers. Then we'll talk about what's happening in the markets. And finally, I would also like to revisit the Deepavali-Pongal portfolio. The Deepavali-Pongal portfolio, which we had done, we had created an equal weighted portfolio around Deepavali, and we had expected to close out the portfolio in the Pongal week. Next week is the Pongal week. So we would like to see where we are and what has happened to that. So a few moments there. So let's just get into the daily report, which is so GDP growth came yesterday at 6.4% versus CNBC poll of 6.3%, well below RBI's number of 6.6%. RBI had, in fact, I think, brought it down from 7% to 6.6, which everybody felt was high. So most analysts penciled in a 6.3 advance estimate this is, and 6.4 is what the government of India has released. And the real GDP growth, they're expecting about 6.4 versus 8.2%. That was last year, 8.2, and RBI was 6.6, as I mentioned. Now, is this good news or bad news? Typically, if you look at what analysts are saying and what government has given, it's that way it has beaten analyst expectation. But if you look at what happened last year, 8.2% to 6.4 is bad news. In bull market, bad news is celebrated, good news is celebrated more. Now, where are we is a very good question to ask, because we seem to be in a sideways market, neither here nor there. We'll have to see how the markets react, because none of the foreign portfolio investors or none of the brokerages have given any commentary on the GDP numbers. So the real GVA is seen at 6.4 versus 7.2 year on year. Real GVA is gross value added. That is nowadays the buzzword. So that's also low. That what nominal GDP growth, they're seeing it at 9.7% versus the CNBC TV poll of 9.9, which is below the analyst expectation. And so the nominal GDP growth seen at 9.7 versus 9.6 year on year, which is quite good. Then you have aggregate growth, which is seen at 3.8%. That is a very pleasant surprise, because we were talking of rural distress all through the year. So that, I think, should bode well for the consumer stocks. Mining growth is crashed. They're expecting mining growth not to be good. Manufacturing growth also not to be good. Electricity growth not to be good. Generally, across the board, nothing to really cheer home about. But what is important is, how will the policymakers look at these numbers? Will the policymakers wake up and say, okay, we have to change or rather fine-tune our policies towards increasing our GDP? Or are we going to only look at politics, and political discourse will be more important for us than economic discourse? Right now, the government, unfortunately, has looked more at political discourse. I think now is the time for them to get up and do something. And therefore, the budget is the best place to do it. See, I have been bullish on the markets and on the economy for quite some time. Actually, since June of 2024, I continue to be bullish till budget. After budget, I'll review where it goes, because there's no point in changing, our opinion at this point of time when it's so close to the budget, just because some GDP numbers, GDP estimates, not even numbers, GDP estimates are lower than some analyst estimates. So that's where I am. So where are the cues this morning? Day for yesterday, we had a severe crash. I was very cautious yesterday because the biggest fall happened in micro caps and small cap. Micro cap and small cap actually bounced back yesterday, but still not good enough, I would say. So we are in no man's land as far as what yesterday's closing was concerned. So mid cap also did well. Metals and energy did well. Metals because Government of India is looking at a PLI scheme. Energy was led by the redoubtable Reliance, which somehow is being beaten so badly for I feel no fault of theirs. Probably the market feels that they're looking more at their personal aggrandizement, like the wedding, 1 year long wedding. So the prices have not gone up. We have to see whether Ambani comes back into form in business rather than in social activities. So Nalco and Hindalco were the top gainers. Nalco has been beaten down significantly. I think it's time for it to perform. So Pharma, it was led by Biocon, which is our favorite share. And though it's our favorite share as for an investment, we have actually moved out of it yesterday closing in our Deepavali to Pongal portfolio, which I'll come to it later. Nifty Bank, Bank of Baroda led it. IndusInd Bank also did very well yesterday. IndusInd Bank also is a beaten down stock. We sold it in our portfolio, the investment portfolio. PSU Bank closed in the green. Punjab National Bank, again, it is part of our Deepavali-Pongal portfolio. We'll discuss it a little later. Realty, which is down for 2 days in a row, did well. IT declined. IT was the major sector which did badly yesterday. Now, after our markets, we had Europe was doing very well. Though US markets opened bright, but then heavy selling came in Nvidia. Nvidia had their presentation yesterday, and subsequent to that, it made an all-time high at $153, and then it is closed at 140. Sometimes on good news, markets top out. Sometimes scripts top out on good news. Is it that Nvidia has topped out at 153? We will soon know. But Nvidia being Nvidia, you can never say whether 153 is just the top or it is just one more minor peak. So that is going to be interesting of how Nvidia operates. Aftermarket, it's up by about 1.5 to 2%. So you never know. Dow Jones opened higher, but then it collapsed. And then last half an hour, it bounced back, but still down 0.4%. S&P 500 was badly beaten because of these FANG stocks, and it was down by about 1%. There was a lot of chaos in the forex market, the bond market, as well as the commodity markets. So spot gold up went up 0.5%. Silver was strong. And because of the December ISM data, which is generally considered to be inflationary, there was a spike in treasury yields. Intraday high of 10-year yield went up as close as to 4.7. This is the highest since April. Dollar firmed up because people feel that Fed will likely ease slow easing cycle, but I'm not very sure because I think it was a knee-jerk reaction. So what did FIs and DIs do? FIs really did not sell so much, even though markets were up about 1,500 crores. DIs matched them with 1,600 crores. So how has India performed with vis-a-vis the rest of the world in this first few days of this new year 2025? We are somewhere near the bottom, but we are still at the bottom in terms of the positive gains. Kospi is leading nearly close to 5%. DAX is good at 2%. European markets are good. Nasdaq is also not bad. Dow Jones is flat. Nifty, as we said, Indian market is about 0.3%. Nikkei is down. Nikkei has been very volatile, and Hang Seng and Shanghai are really doing badly. So this Pongal portfolio, which we had an equal weighted portfolio, we had said that we will look at it during the Pongal week. Pongal week is next week. So by next Friday, we need to liquidate this portfolio. Of course, many of the stocks here are in our long-term portfolio, so we're not liquidating them. But this portfolio we will liquidate. Apollo Micro 101 we bought and we have liquidated yesterday at around 135. The reason being not that it has gone up 35%, but more important is that they're having a board meeting tomorrow to increase equity into that firm. So generally, when something like that comes, the market, at least it tops out temporarily. It's a fantastic company, but if they increase their equity, then their earnings per share goes down and P ratio goes up. P ratio is already around 60 and odd, maybe about 70 it is. So I would, let's say, I thought we should take profit there. Biocon also we took because again, Biocon good news came. Generally, what happens is on good news, the price goes up, and then subsequently it starts coming down. So Apollo Micro and Biocon we have eliminated from our portfolio. Reasonably good profits there. Apollo Micro bought at 101, sold at 135. Biocon bought at 316, sold at 382. In my personal opinion, the 382 is just one more landmark in a series of landmarks which Biocon should achieve in the next few years. So Biocon continues to be my favorite stock among pharma. Bajaj Auto, we have not done well at all. Bajaj Auto has been very bad. Bandhan Bank also was our favorite stock. Bad. We are bad there. Now, Canara Bank from 103, it went up to 110. Now it is bound come back to 98, below our purchase price. Reddy has done well from 1274. It has gone to 1352. HDFC Bank 1735. It went close to 1900. Now it has come back below our purchase price. We will see what we have to do next week. Larsen again from 3620 it went to 39, some 10%. We did not sell. We thought we will sell it in the Pongal week. So we are paying the price. It has come back to almost our purchase price, but still higher than our purchase price. PNB 98, it went up to 110. We got about 15% profit, but we didn't do anything, and we're back to 103, which is still a profitable venture. Reliance was a bad move. Reliance and Bandhan Bank and Bajaj Auto, 3 of their 10 stocks were really bad for us, but we don't know. We can still hope because market is still becoming bullish on Reliance just now. Bajaj Auto may be very difficult. We'll have to book losses, and so is Bandhan. But we hold Bandhan Bank in our investment portfolio. So do we hold Reliance. In fact, all of these we hold in our investment portfolio, including Apollo Micro, which we were not selling. We're just holding it. And if we will use this money to buy it again if it comes down. So this is where we are. We are up on Apollo. We're up on Biocon. We're up on Reddy 3. Then that is the Larsen. We're okay 4. And PNB were up 5. So 5 out of our 10 stocks are still above what we bought on that day, which means even though there has been so much of volatility in the market and Nifty is trading, I think, below that day's levels, we are still better off. And I'm expecting that in the next 1 week, we should do much better. So this is as far as our Deepavali-Pongal portfolio is concerned. Just another point on Tata Steel. Tata Steel reported its numbers yesterday in terms of the advance estimates, and they seem to have done well as far as India is concerned, but they didn't do as well as far as the Britain is concerned. And finally, there is a meeting between the Finance Ministry and PSU banks next week. That should augur well for the public sector banks. I feel they are going to look at what the progress and what do the PSU banks need. Generally, when PSU banks ask for something, the government tends to give. So I'm assuming that there will be some positivity going into the budget in PSU banks. So let us see what happens. So at the end of the day, yesterday we were bullish, so we made money. And today also I continue to be bullish, but I will watch carefully because you see there is a lot of good news, bad news. But GDP, we don't know how the market will take. We don't know how the US market movement yesterday, how the market will take, but on the the Dow futures and S&P and Nasdaq, all of them are up. Asian markets are up, especially the Japan is down, Hong Kong is down, but Singapore, the Singapore market plus Kospi, they are all up. So it is a mixed bag. One has to watch carefully where we are going. As I said, we are in no man's land. So therefore, I'm cautiously bullish. I'm not going to be bearish till budget is what I said. Sorry, I will not. I'll change my opinion if anything after the budget. That also, if the budget is good, then obviously we'll continue the bullish view. So we are planning to buy, but we will watch and buy. We will not go with gung-ho kind of spirit. So whatever you do today, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining me.